All right, three, two, one. Hello, and welcome back to another Skating Penguin Network podcast. This is just going to be a quick game recap of the California trip that the Penguins just wrapped up. Just going to quickly kind of go over the three games that they had down there, starting with the game in San Jose against the Sharks. This was a 10-2 blowout. The second game in a row that the Sharks had given up a 10 spot. The Sharks are historically bad this year. They're going for Celebrini, the first overall pick for sure. Things are ugly down there, but I think that's kind of the way they wanted. I don't think they meant to see things go this way, but anyways, the Penguins put an absolute beating on them. I'll just go down the quick list here of the goal scorers. Smith scores 2, Gensel scores 2. Vinny Hinostroza in his season debut with the Penguins gets a goal, replacing Carter on that fourth line. Malkin scores, Letang scores on a beauty set up by Sid. Nieto gets on the board. Malkin actually scores again here. And then McDonald and Duclair are the goal scorers for San Jose. Honestly, with the players on the Penguins roster, this is the type of score and outcome you would hope to have happened. But let's be honest with ourselves here. I think some of us were shaking in our boots because the Pens had been struggling. This is the type of game that the Penguins might not show up to historically and play down to their competition and hand the Sharks their first dub of the year. But that wasn't the case. They put an absolute beating on these guys and got some goals from the fourth line, which has been a non-factor, non-existent so far this season. Malkin continues to roll. This is, like I said, this is the type of game you would hope a team like the Penguins puts up against a team like the Sharks right now. So let's move on down the I-5 down to Anaheim, where the Anaheim Ducks had kind of been rolling. They handed Las Vegas their first loss of the year. Again, didn't really know how this game was going to go, just given the shakiness of the Penguins, but you're hoping that they carry some momentum from the game in San Jose over. And it ends up being a 2-0 shutout. The Pens take the 2 points. And I had said before this series, the Penguins got to come back home with 4 points. I'm hoping for 4 points. LA's a wagon, so you hope that they take advantage of the rebuilding Sharks and the young Anaheim Ducks. And they do just that. Radim Zahorna gets his third of the year, picking up some loose change there in front of the net. And then no scoring in the second. And then in the third period, Sid backhands a puck from essentially half court into the empty net. And he gets his 6th goal of the year. Kind of interesting. Jari actually, there was an odd play, and even watching the replay, I can't really tell what happens. It looks like maybe his mask gets lifted up and the puck gets shot and hits him in the eye. He left the game a little bit bloodied. He still hasn't returned. Magnus Hellberg steps in though, and welcome to Hellberg population Magnus. He helps the team get the shutout. He looked really good. He faced some high danger chances. And he kept the puck out of the net, and that's what you want to see from your backup. So good on Hellberg for being able to step in unexpectedly like that and put up a good performance. And Jari looked sharp so far until he got hurt, so hopefully it's not too serious. But anyways, yeah, he ends up missing the next game here in LA, just across the I-5 again, down to Crypto Arena or whatever it's called now. Now, LA's a good team. This is a cup contender team. They've got, future Hall of Famer Anze Kopitar. They've got, Vinny Lecavalier 2.0, I call him, that Pierre-Luc Dubois. And then Philip Deneau is a great defensive shutdown. He's a great third line center, but of course he could play second. He could be he could be a first-line center to himself. They're deep up the middle. That Quentin Byfield is turning into a player. He's finally healthy, and you're seeing the potential he had. He's a monster. Typically a center, but he's no fourth liner. He's more of a skill guy, and he's playing the wing now, and he's looking good. They've got great depth. They've always got Doughty back there on the back end who can just sit back in his rocking chair and make things happen, snap it around. He can jump up in the play. The only thing with LA is their goaltending. You don't really know what's going on with that goaltending between Talbot and Copley. But they've been good so far. So I was, this was the game I expected the Penguins to drop. And fortunately, they actually walk out of there with 2 points in a pretty exciting game. Let's get into it quick. So let's see. Sid kicks off the scoring with his seventh goal of the year. Carl Grundstrom then ties it up at 1. Going into the second, Adrian Kempe gets on the score sheet, where later in that period, Lars Eller with on the shorthanded, beautiful goal by Lars there, shorthanded, taking us into the third. Jake Gensel scores on a beautiful play created by Carlson involving Sid. This is the stuff that Penguins fans have dreamed of. Just a beautiful developing play with Carlson jumping up in the play and some slick passing and Jake finishing it off with a beautiful goal. And then Fiala ends up tying it up late at 3. Game heads to OT, where things get kind of interesting. Brian Russ scores. He bangs in a rebound, and the Pens are celebrating, taking 6 points out of this road trip. But then the horn starts sounding. It's called back. There was an offside play, but 15 seconds later, they drop the puck, and Brian Russ scores a beauty wraparound, tucks it behind Copley's pad there, and the Penguins do end up taking 6 points on this road trip. It was Magnus Hellberg, unbelievable in that game too. He faced, I think, like 11 high danger chances. He looked good. I'll admit I was shocked, but he's a big netminder. He's like a Vasilevsky build. And the Penguins were playing pretty decent in front of him as well, too, against a good LA team. So Hellberg gets the dub. This is more than you could have asked on this road trip. Raquel, I wanted to bring up Raquel. Raquel still hasn't scored a goal yet, but I'm not going to be hard on him. Don't be talking about trading Raquel. Can't put him down on the third or the fourth line. That's just not the type of player he is. What I do like about Raquel right now is I've never seen Raquel more engaged. Right now, Raquel, he looks hungry. He looks desperate at times. And I think that's kind of working against him a little bit. But my one knock against Raquel in the past is that he looks a little aloof out there. He doesn't look massively competitive at times. He kind of looks a little nonchalant at times. The body language bugs me a little bit, but I don't see any of that out of Raquel right now. He looks hungry. He looks desperate. He's involved, and that second line is buzzing right now. We have 2 first lines in Pittsburgh right now with the addition of Riley Smith and the chemistry with Malkin. It's looking great, and Raquel is contributing to the success of that line, but he's just not putting the puck in the net yet. So if I just wanted to quickly mention, I've never seen him more engaged, and I like the hunger and the desperation out of him. It's a nice change from his sort of aloofness at times. It's going to start going in the net for him. It's a long season. Probably not looking at a career high year, but I hope that the Raquel hate after this road trip is. I hope he doesn't get too much of it, because I like what I see out of him despite not scoring any goals. I was kind of hoping for him to get one when he was back in LA. So yeah, good road trip by the Pens. It was exciting games. Even the San Jose game, the blowout, it was still cool to see everyone kind of getting on the board. It was good to see Carter. I don't want to say it's good to see Carter benched, because I kind of feel for him in a way, but it's nice to see Sullivan not be so stubborn and give Hinostroza a chance, and he scores in that game. And then I thought it was a classy move by Sullivan to put Carter back in against LA. That shows that Sullivan respects Carter. He had a great career. He's a Stanley Cup champion, multiple Stanley Cup champion, over 400 goals. This is Carter's last game probably in LA ever. I think it was just a classy move by Sullivan to put him in, and he didn't hinder the team. I thought he looked good. He definitely didn't look bad out there and wasn't a liability. So good on Sully and good on Carter. The Penguins play Buffalo, recording on Friday. They play Saturday. So finally we'll get maybe Robbie and Garrett on. I know they've been, I'll text the group chat and they're snoozing because it's probably like 1:00 in the morning by the time games are over. So yeah, Buffalo on Saturday, and we'll be back with another game recap. I think we got a mailbag coming up on Monday, I believe, but I think we're finishing off our last mailbag. We haven't gotten to the second part of it. And then maybe a little bit of a mailbag dedicated more to Thanksgiving. I think we're working on that. We'll get something ironed out, but we will talk to you guys Saturday after the game, probably released on Sunday. So have a good weekend, everybody. Stay safe and go Pens.